Hey, Blind Man Willy coming at you here, 7:30 in the morning. Got my ethnic on. Well, I went outside to shovel the snow. Now it hurts real bad, well, down below. It ain't funny when you're aching down in your back. All the Advil that you're taking won't ease the attack. There just ain't no mistaking, you got the sacroiliac blues. I did really good up to the end. You know what the hardest part is? Wearing sunglasses and regular glasses at the same time. That's talent.
It's something. Sacroiliac, that's a real pain in the butt from what I hear.
It really is, yes.
Yeah, it's Monday again.
It's Monday again, and it's posturing for your day again with your hosts, Bill Bryan
and Gina Marks.
You want me to put the hat on?
No hat head today.
Well, anyway, today's week is devoted to low back sacroiliac blues and issues that happen with the low back, and we kind of came up with this just because it's spring and we've all been shoveling snow.
Most of us have been.
That's true. Yeah, some of us have been sitting inside watching soaps, eating bonbons. What do you got for us today, Kim?
Well, I mean, tons of exercises. We won't do them all today, but just start to work on getting movement into the back in a way that keeps it loose and supple and is great even if you haven't been shoveling, but you wake up with a lot of moans and groans and
lumps and bumps
and a little bit of difficulty getting around. Stop interrupting me.
That's what I do best.
It's true.
All right, well, make me work.
I'm going to make him work. So going right into it, right? So there's a lot going on, just even in this space, right? So mostly what we're going to focus on, I mean, there's, muscles that go along the spine here, but a lot of what doesn't move so much in our modern culture as we get more and more sedentary is the musculature between the rib cage and the pelvis. Like they get to a point where they stop moving independently of each other. So we're going to focus a lot on that. But we're going to go into it slowly. So thinking of...
Do you need my back again?
I always need your back. No, I don't need your back, actually. So thinking in terms of like the bigger outer muscles, the ones that are connecting the rib cage, the abdominal wall muscles in the front and the obliques and the muscles in the side, and then the ones that connect the rib cage to the pelvis in the back.
Can I say quadratus lumborum?
There you go. Those are bigger muscles, and we start with more general exercises just to start to loosen those up. And then the exercises get a little bit more tighter, so we focus in on the smaller muscles, ligaments, man.
Ligaments. At least you didn't say celiac.
The celiac muscles, as you get closer to the vertebrae, that, when you rush in too quickly, they're still, they still may be sleeping and in guarding mode, and they're the ones that get your attention when you do something like bend down to pick up a paper clip or whatever. So we want to approach it not aggressively, but just like going from the outside in.
It's you mentioned a good point too, especially since we're doing these routines at 7:30 in the morning. If you're doing them along with us live, when you first wake up, your muscles are going to be tight because they may be guarding while you're sleeping. Right. And where a lot of people make their mistake is they jump out of bed too fast in the morning before they warm up the muscles, especially the low back muscles. Mm-hmm. Worse yet, they may put themselves into a series of stretches that they're doing too fast, they're going too far, that would injure them anyway.
Right.
But first thing in the morning, it's like a perfect storm, and good for business for us, but not so good for you guys.
And the sticky spots too, we've talked about, like overnight, the muscles that should be gliding over each other when we're moving tend to get what Gil Hedley calls fuzzy. So they start to stick together a little bit. The connective tissue gets a little sticky, and that's, you go to move one way and the muscles aren't separating and gliding, and then you get pulled there too. So that's mostly why he says we feel stiff in the morning. That may be one reason, but
Okay.
the muscles are kind of glommy, so you have to
Glommy?
glommy.
Glommy. Did we mention that it's Monday?
Did we have to mention that? All right, so we're just going to start warming them up manually. So just warm
Get
up
your glommy
hands.
muscles out of bed.
Of course, Corinne's here. She's probably cracking up.
Oh, good morning, Corinne.
We're just going to give a little gentle massage over the low back muscles. Ooh, look at the sun. It's working from the base of the rib cage down to the pelvis.
You'll want to come out of that sunlight because you're getting a big
Look. That's
getting
cool.
cut by a laser. There you go.
All right, and then backs of the hands, loose wrists, and just a little percussion. Base of the rib cage down to the top of the pelvis. Over the sacrum a little. All right. So the first movement is going to be, like I said, very general, and the slower the better, especially if you are particularly stiff in the morning. Just taking your time with this. There's no benefit to rushing it, I promise you, and much more benefit to just, going slow and doing it with the breathing. So you're going to bring your arms up about shoulder height. Keep them loose. Keep the shoulders down. Feet are about pelvis width apart. We're going to take a nice breath in, and as you exhale, we're just going to twist to one side, and then inhale back to center, and exhale the other way.
See if I can get that sunlight out of your face.
And in, out. And again, just picturing the outer muscles, kind of like a casing on the outside. So we're not even really thinking about the spine so much.
Now, we're not hanging the wrists, or doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah. But you don't want to be locked up.
Right.
They just
Not
want to be
rigid.
relaxed.
Should the pelvis be coming or the pelvis staying stationary?
You can start with letting the pelvis move side to side, and then if you want to hold, as your back loosens up, you can hold the pelvis so it's still, your hip bones are pointing forward, and then just think about moving the rib cage. That'll tighten up the movement a little bit. You may feel that tightness coming here a little bit more.
Right.
Just do a couple more side to side. All right, inhale back to center, relax. We're going to keep the arms here. Got them. We're going to roll forward. Again, real loose, real gentle. Inhale, exhale, just roll the upper body forward and then curl up. Again, just take it down a little bit at a time. If your back's stiff, you don't want to go too far forward. Inhale and exhale. I breathe faster, I guess. I'll slow it down.
Slow it down for us old people.
Right, let's do two more. Yeah, I'll do one more. Come up, inhale. And then exhale, relax your arms.
Now show us what that looks like from the side, like face that way, so we can see the action. Are you bending here like that, or are you kind of rolling the back down?
I'm rolling and pulling up. Now,
Okay.
you want to be real careful. Like if you're rolling and flexing the spine, you don't want to go too far down because this is one of those movements that can get your low back. But you could go further if you bend at the hip. But I'm just trying to get like a general rolling motion in through the spine. Does that clarify?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know.
I know. It's for you
It's
guys.
for the,
Yeah.
right.
All right. So that was a more general outer movement. We're going to start to come in a little bit closer, starting to think about moving in through the layers. So to do that, we're going to bring the feet a little closer together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to get another blind in there.
Bringing the hands up overhead, which is going to put more of a stretch in through these back muscles now. So we're putting them in a more tense position in a sense, and now we're going to start twisting them. So as we inhale, we're going to exhale to the side. Nice and gently, and inhale back to center, and exhale to the other side. Now I'm going to stand sideways again so you can see that when you're doing this, to get the arms over the shoulders, sometimes we have so much tension in the shoulders that we're going to thrust the rib cage out. I don't want you to do that. I want you to drop the rib cage down so you're not putting that torque in the low back.
Does it matter if the arms are straight up or slightly forward?
No, because if you do have shoulder tension, you're not going to be able to bring them up here and then drop the ribs at the same time without a lot of discomfort.
If somebody says, oh, well, I want the him like this, they don't realize they're cheating by...
Exactly.
By
and that's not the important part. The important part is that you're opening up the back.
Okay.
And not injuring yourself in the process.
That's very important.
Yes.
Bills don't do injuries. Well.
We're inhaling to the center, a little bit more tension comes in with the inhale, and then the exhale is a little more relaxation. Twist to the side.
I can feel my ribs wanting to come up.
Mm-hmm. And again, you can feel the difference between when you allow your pelvis to go with the movement and then when you try to hold your pelvis more toward the center and then just rotating the rib cage. Explore both. And with each segment here, you might notice yourself being able to go a little bit further, feeling that reach coming up through the shoulder joint, through the scapula. Let's do one more to the side. And then inhale back to center. And exhale, we'll give the arms a break here.
See if I can get that sun out of your face. 1 second. Just go.
There's always a sun in my face.
No, that's as far as it goes.
All right, bring the arms up again. Check your ribs. Drop them down. There you go. Yeah.
Like
All right.
that? Okay.
And now we're going to take a breath in, and we're going to go to the side. And it's not a real deep bend over here. We're just trying to gently open up the musculature between the rib cage and the pelvis, and inhale and exhale. In and out. Let's do one more to each side. Come up with the inhale and exhale. All right, I'm going to move down a little bit, and stiffness in the hip joints can also affect the back, especially in the way like the less your hips are able to move and articulate when you're walking, a lot of that motion will go to the low back where it doesn't belong. So we want to make sure that the hips are open as well.
When you say the hip joint, you mean right where the femur attaches to the...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're going to do hip circles. So when you're starting with your legs wider first.
Wait, what are we doing?
We're doing hip circles.
Oh, jeez.
You wanted to do them with me? You're going to do them with me.
She didn't tell me what we were doing.
No,
my brothers are
exactly.
watching this.
Anyway, so when the feet are wider apart, you're going to feel this motion. Get over here.
Putting your feet into it. Don't holler at me. We're on public television.
You're going to feel the motion more in the hip joint itself.
All right.
All right.
Here we go. Hip
So,
circles.
nice and slow.
What are we doing? Oh, Lord.
Inhale. And exhale.
Waga. Is that? No.
So needless to say, there's a lot of cultural inhibitions to movement as well.
I have no idea what she's talking about. Am I doing it right? I'm going to see what I'm doing. Watch myself on TV.
Well, you're moving, right?
Yeah, I'm moving. Yeah, I'm moving. I got you. Movement.
I'll just do a few in one direction.
What are we doing? Reversing?
Do one more in this direction, and then we'll reverse.
Okay. It's like we're doing the bump in slow motion.
Go the other way. And the slower you go, the more you will notice where your hang-ups are. Besides that, but physically, biomechanically, not just psychologically.
I have no idea what you're talking about. All joking aside, I can feel this at the SI joint.
Mm.
And that is where the lumbar vertebra, come down and they sit on top of the sacrum, and that sacrum wedges into the pelvis. And that's really the only articulation you have from the lower half of your body to the upper half.
The joints,
that joint, and it takes a beating.
It does. I had an anatomy teacher describe it as a train wreck.
Train wreck, there you go.
All right, we're going to bring the feet closer together.
Oh, I got to bring the camera up again?
Yeah, what my hands are doing is not really important.
Okay, I'm going to bring it up a little bit. I think Zena might join us in a second.
So again, when we're putting our arms in this position, we're getting more tension in through the back muscles. So you want to go really gently and slowly with this. We're going to do the hip circles again.
Oh, geez.
And just trying to keep it within the pelvis. So the torso's not going with it. It's just moving the pelvis in a circle.
Which way would you turn here? This way? That way. It's hard working in reflections.
So there's been some discussion about the SI joint as well, in that when humans started to go upright, it was a flaw of nature. The SI joint is like this flaw of nature because that's where so many of our back issues emanate from. But I thought it was interesting because if you think about it, well, if you study in our culture, if you're sitting all the time, yes, it is going to be an issue. But is that true for humans across all cultures that move more and bend more properly?
Okay. So in other words, because we sit all the time and we have problems with our SI joint, people say, oh, well, that's because we didn't evolve
It's
properly.
a flaw in the design.
It's a flaw of the design, rather than saying, no, it's a flaw of our lifestyle, and maybe
Exactly.
we were built exactly as we are. I'm going with that one. Oh, man, I can't believe what you got me doing. Here, look at this. Ooh.
All right, let's switch directions. Wait do you see what we do on Wednesday? This is just the beginning.
Great. I'm not wearing a tutu. Again. Not after that last incident. The look on the cop's face was hysterical.
Okay, let's just do a couple more. You really feel it here. Feel a big difference between having the feet closer together and
Yeah,
wider
yeah.
apart? Yeah, it's a little bit more. I want to say dicey.
Look, Zena's looking at us like, what the heck?
All right, let's do one more round.
Come here, Zena. Let's do some pelvis stuff. Yeah, there she is.
All right, just
Okay.
a little.
Do your exercises with us. Ooh, that's hard.
It's hard.
It's all up through here.
Yep.
You can feel that pulling.
Yep. So that's the introduction. That's basically just a warm up to some of the really more intense back exercises we're going to get into. So hopefully you were trying that. But I mean, in and on themselves, they're a great benefit and give a lot of great results just first thing. And
Now, as we head into Wednesday, you're going to be layering more of these. I'm assuming we should be doing this.
we should do at least some cursory warm up before we go into the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would recommend too, I made the mistake of having my smoothie first and then doing the back exercises, which actually a lot of core movement. It's not a good idea. So just
So don't do that.
don't do that.
Well, I have a thought for the day.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, but this one's intelligent because I didn't write it. I'm just reading it. Although I don't know who it's from. P.S. Alspensky. You ever heard of him?
Sure.
He, she?
He and I go way back.
Ah, now it's all coming out. Ideas by themselves cannot produce change of being. Your effort must go in the right direction, and one must correspond to the other.
That's a very good thought for this week.
It's a very good thought for this week, and think about that in terms of alignment.
Yeah.
You know, so there you have it, folks. We'll see you back here, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, on Wednesday morning, 7:30 a.m. Be there or be square. Tell your friends.
Thank you.